तिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानचक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामयं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीदावदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नाम्ने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, संस्कृतम की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल जय।
There are many reasons people drop out, or they cannot sustain based on their personal schedules or whatever it is, or maybe it's technical, they are not able to understand, whatever it is. But all of you are the selected few. Bhagavan has given the chance for you to, at this point, study nicely and delve deeper. All of you are consistently doing your homeworks and are also understanding the concepts, applying everything. So in Bhagavad Gita, the concept is mode of goodness is given, where the work initially is not pleasurable, but at the end it gives lot of happiness. Like for example, getting up early in the morning, it's so much austerity. But that's as we practice, we see that actually that's the best time in the hour for devotional practices. So similarly, this is austerity in the beginning, where we have to learn these tables, where we have to apply and analyze the shabdas, all these things. But after some time, it becomes part of our system, that it's like a hat trick, where the comedian does a hat trick, right? Nobody knows how he gets things like that. When we read the words, the meaning just flows with us. We don't need to think about this vibhakti, that vibhakti. Everything internalizes. So everything is systematically set up to help you come there, help all of us come there. So thank you for following that systematically and being part of this wonderful journey. You are the life force behind this course. Many other people are listening offline through recordings. So, and some people are in session 1, session 2, like that. So, we are going with the course, and we are all, kind of giving our association with all the people who may in future listen by Krishna's grace. So, thank you again from my bottom of my heart for being part of this journey. Okay, so let's begin. So, we are in session number 11. We are going to discuss Tumun and Lang Lakaraha. One type of new Lakara we'll discuss today. Okay, so little bit connection with the previous session. Okay, Avyayani we discussed, right? Indeclinables. Avyayam is the Ekavachanam and Avyaya is the Pratipadikam. Okay, and this is a shloka we studied about Avyayam. Tadrisham trishu lingeshu sarvasu cha vibhaktishu vachaneshu cha sarveshu yannavyeti tadavyayam. Okay, so this is also some nice shloka for us to analyze later. But anyway, I think I gave the Anvaya for us. And there are some words, padas, which by birth they are avyayas. Essentially, the designation is avyaya. Okay? Atra, kutra. Actually, this tatra, tada, kada, sada. Okay, like that. These are some examples we saw. And we also are seeing we can actually make avyayas. Like as Sanskritam allows the facility to make new words, and some of those words happen to be avyaya. That's all it is. Because Sanskritam is not a fixed set of vocabulary, and that's all you given. There is infinite words we can form by following the system of the Prakriti Pratyaya. So that's why we went into this new concept of kridantas. This is yet another suffix, krit. Krit is nothing but a suffix, pratyaya. And what is its definition? Which is not a thing. Thing are only 18. Tiktaschi, mipmas, maha, or like that. I didn't memorize that. 18 suffixes, which results in patati, patataha, patanti, that whole table. Plus, Atmanepadi is also there. Vardhate, vardhete, vardhante, vardhase, vardhete, vardhadve, vardhe, vardhavahe, vardhamahe. This is the Atmanepadi suffixes, which we are not studying often these days, but eventually we'll get to memorizing that also. 18 are there, ting pratyas. So other than this 18, if there is any suffix which is added to dhatu, it is called krut. That is Panini's definition. Okay. So, and what does it result in? It results in krudantaha. Krut antaha yasya saha. A word which has krut at the end. That's the meaning of the sentence. Krut antaha yasya saha. And that is krudantaha, and that is actually pratipadikam. That means it's a base form, okay, which cannot be used in a sentence. It has to be added. Pratipadikam gets with suffix, sup suffix. So when we add the sup suffix, then it can actually be used as Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Gataha, Gatau, Gataha, like that. We saw in Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, right? Samavetaha, that is also Krudanta actually. So some kruts result in avyayam. Okay, by definition, it's given that certain kruts will result in avyayam. And these are Tva, Lep, and Tumun. So today we are going to discuss about Tumun. Okay, so this is in connection with the previous session and how we are moving forward. Okay, and these are our statements, standard equations, Sanskrit equations, Pratipadikam Supratyaya Subanta Padam, Dhatu plus Ting Pratyaya Tingantam Padam. Okay, now this was a new equation we are studying since last class. Dhatuhu plus Krut Pratyaya is equal to Krudantaha, Pratipadikam. Examples, adding these three specifically, Gatva, Agatya, Gantu. For the gamal gatau dhatu. Okay, so we are going to only focus on gantum today and understand what it means, how to use it in sentence and things like that. Okay, that's what we are leading. So this is again background. We discussed these two equations since long, Tingantam Padam, Subanta Padam. Today we are going to discuss this one type of krut. Dhatuhu plus krut pratyaya is equal to pratipadikam. In that, a specific krut we are going to discuss is tumun, which results in gantum, like that, avyaya. Actually, it becomes avyayam. Avyayam is also a subantam, but the sup becomes lopaha, that we discussed in question answers last class. Okay, now let's get into tumun. That was just a background so that you are on the board with the concepts. Again, so tumun. What is tumun? See, if you see, I've written it in a different way now. Okay, so this has some special Anunasika Varna here. So tuman means an infinitive in English. If you have studied English, if you know this concept in English, it's called infinitive. But if you don't know also, no problem. What it means is to do an activity, to do whatever the dhatu is telling. Okay, that is what the tumun pratyaya indicates. See, for example, gantum means to go. Patitum means to read. Okay, khaditum means to eat. So whatever the main action the dhatu is specifying, when we add a tumun, the meaning will become to do that activity. Okay, simple. Now we have to now reflect back and ask certain questions about its sanya. So let's see who will remember this. Okay, I am showing the answer here, but So who can tell in Tumun what are the it varnas? See, this is Upadesha, Adi Ucharanam. It's given by the Acharya in the beginning. Pratyayas are all Adi Ucharanam. So there are two rules of Itsanya we studied earlier which can be applied here. Who can tell that? I will ask you. By that, this now basically what is Itsanya? Itsanya is a package which is added to the main ingredient for transfer some information. But the goal before we start the application of or use this object, we need to remove the envelope. We need to remove the it, then take the letter, and we have to move forward with it. So, what are the it varnas in this? And we studied this in maybe few sessions back. And what are they? So, only Tamal Govind Prabhu is able to answer. Okay, Prabhuji, tell.
Mataji, Antima Vyanjana.
So one rule is halantyam, means whenever Vyanjanam is coming at the end of the Adi Ucharanam or Upadesha, that is considered a it. So it can be removed. So na goes away. Okay. So let's. Okay, so this na goes away. Prabhuji, one more is. Prabhu, we are not able to hear you again. I think your audio system. Okay, Tarun Kumar Prabhu wants to tell. I will ask him to tell. Prabhuji.
Mataji, second is the of Mun.
Correct. Anunasika Ukara also gets a Itvarna. Okay. So, goes away actually. So, this part goes away. That's also anywhere we see Upadeshe Ajanunasika, that is actual sutra given by Panini Maharshi. Upadeshe Ajanunasika means Anunasika Ach becomes It. That's what is the statement. Okay, so these two go away. So now that's what we will see here. So Tumun is actually Tu plus Mu plus Anunasika Ukara plus Nakara. This is a Hal at the end. So this goes away. Anunasika Ukara goes away. So all you get is Tum. Okay. So it's very important. We should not forget, because by using all the time Gantum, Patitum, we think Tum is only there. But we also need to remember what is the original Pratyaya prescribed by Panini Maharshi. So that much we should know. Otherwise, we can always study this in a black hole without connecting to Acharya's works. But that's not good. Eventually, if you all study advanced grammar lessons, it's important to know this. So that's the reason we are telling it from the root. Okay, very clear. So Tumun eventually results in only Tum that's get added. That's the only one gets added to Dhatu. Okay, so and other properties, it results in an Avyayam. Note, Avyayani get Padasanya. We discussed that Avyayani get Padasanya. That means Anunasika Swara gets applied. Anunasika Swara Sandhi rule gets applied to them, as well as they can be directly used in a sentence. Like Cha can be used in a sentence like that. Yada can be used in a sentence like that. Like Gantum can be directly used in a sentence, and it doesn't vary with the Linga Vachana Vibhakti. Everybody's clear? Okay. Meaning is to do the action of that verb. To do the action specified by the dhatu. Every dhatu is actually indicating some action that is given in the meaning. Bhu sattayam. Bhu means to exist. Edha vruddhau means edhmi is used for growing or improving, like that. So when we read the dhatu pata, we will be able to get the basic meaning at least. So every dhatu has a basic meaning. So this, when you add the tum to it, we are saying to do that activity. That's the meaning we are getting. So everything has a meaning. The suffix also has a meaning. For example, pat plus tumun becomes patitum. See, we know only tum is getting added, correct? Just add that tum, and some more transformations happen because of other properties, which it's difficult to study in the basic version of this class. But we can right now practice based on seeing the forms again and memorizing them. Patitum, ikara, it's called idagamaha. That's very complicated concepts. Ikara get inserted actually here. Patitum, okay, to study. Patitum means to study. Similarly, gam plus tumun. Gantum. Okay. Here ma changes to na. That is sandhi transformation again. Gantum, to go. Okay. All it's easy for you to identify. Everywhere you see tum will come. Everywhere. That means it's a tumun. And what is the meaning? To do that activity. That's it. And what is the context? It is used as a glue to combine two actions by the same person. Okay. The person does two actions. To combine the two sentences, it can be used as a glue. So when this example, when the same person does an action for an action, future action will get a tumun suffix. Okay, this may be looking like a very complicated sentence. When we see example, it becomes easy. So we do certain actions to do certain action. Like for example, I go to school to study. I go to school, that's one action. To do what? To study. Okay, then the future action will get the tumun. So to study, I go to school, right? Like that. Example, balakaha shalam gacchati, tatra balakaha patati. That's it. These are two sentences. Balakaha shalam gacchati. Boy goes to school. Tatra balakaha patati. There the boy reads. So these are actually mentioned in a chronological sequence. First he goes to school, then he studies. But if you want to make a single sentence for both of them, we can use tumun for the later action. Balakaha patitum shalam gacchati. Okay? But plus tum you have to add it because it's a future action. Balakaha patitum shalam gacchati. Boy goes to school to study. Another thing to note is you cannot see here. If there is two school and two study, then somebody will say, oh, here also I can put the tumun. Okay. But school is a noun. It's a pratipadikam. You cannot add tum to it. Tum can be added only to the verbs. So whenever there is a future action mentioned, that's where you need to put the tum. Balakaha patitum shalam gacchati. Okay. Boy goes to school to study. Similarly, Krishna ichchati. Krishna desires. Krishna Radha milati. Krishna meets Radha. Okay. Krishna Radha melitum ichchati. Krishna likes or desires to meet Radha. Okay. Krishna desires that, okay, I want to meet Radha. And later he goes ahead and meets Radha. Okay. So Krishna Radha melitum ichchati. Right now, what is the situation? He wishes to meet Radha. Ichchati is also a dhatu. It's a desiring, it's an action of liking or desiring. So Krishna Radha melitum ichchati. Krishna likes or desires to meet Radha. Clear so far? Clear, simple. Okay. Okay, so now let's do some examples. Okay, that way it becomes more and more clear for you. What we can do, whoever wants to participate, raise your hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. There are 10 sentences. Each of you can read at least 2 sentences. Okay, so 5 people we need. Okay, 5, 6 people came now. Okay, so Shweta Mataji,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
yeah, read 2 sentences, Mataji. Yeah.
Bhu and Lik, right, Mataji?
So okay, you have to read like whole line like this. Okay, read this, the whole line. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Bhu, earth, to exist, be. Tumun form is bhavitum. Sah vaidyah bhavitum ikshati. He wishes to become a doctor. Lik, to write. Lekhitum. Sa katham lekhitum janati. She knows how to write a story.
Okay, very good. Next, Sanjay Prabhuji.
Ninda, to blame. Ninditum. Anyam ninditum na aharsi. You ought not to blame another. Yach, to beg, ask. Yachitum. Saha, sahatyam. Yachitum agachati. He comes to ask for help.
Okay. Prabhu, one small thing.
Yeah.
See, it's easy to remember. Whenever this thing is coming on top, first we have to tell the Ra first. So this
Yeah.
is Arhasi.
Arhasi. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay, next, Grantaraj Bhagavad Prabhuji. Next two. We are not hearing each other.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Congrats pranam, sir. Congrats pranam to all the devotees. Dhatu, has, to meaning, earth, to laugh, tumun, hasitum, vakyam, sisuh, hasitum, arabhate. The baby begins to laugh. Dhatu, khad, artha, to eat. Tumun, khaditum, vakyam, balakah falani khaditum ikshati. The boy wants to eat fruits. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Preeti Kumari Mataji.
Pa, to drink. Patum. Aham jalam patum ichhami. I want to drink water. Chal, to walk. Chalitum. Sa chalitum na shaknoti. She is not able to walk.
Okay, good. Okay, now only few people. Okay, Tanu, you can do the last two.
Okay, Mataji. Kri, to do. Kartum, tvam kim kartum ichhasi. What do you want to do? Drish, to see. Drashtum. Aham Ishwaram drashtum devalayam gachhami. I go to the temple to see God.
Very done. Very nice. Okay. Other people, you can keep your hands raised. Next time any reading happens, I will ask you. Okay. One thing to note is drish, right? Drish. See, the form is, this whole dhatu gets transformed. It becomes drashtum. Drashtum. And this tum becomes, because of sandhi, tum. But actually, the original one is tum only. It gets transformed. And what else I have to tell? And every places, ikara will come. Bhu, bhavitum. Okay. See here also, that's idagama basically. E is coming, E is coming. But here it's not coming. So pa becomes patum. It's very simple. Pa plus tum, patum. Okay. But here it's coming and here it's not coming. Kartum. So all we have to do is right now memorize the forms. That's all. Because the logic to idagama, we were also not taught in our Vyakarana class. Because it's very, very complex. People have done PhD in that. Because if it's a simple logic, it applies easily in all the scenarios, it makes sense to understand the logic. But if the logic itself is so complex that to understand the logic becomes a guru, in the sense a longer process, then memorizing the form, we would rather memorize the form. So we have to always do a trade and balance. See, for example, I will tell you my personal thing. In our MA, our Acharya, obviously, he taught how this Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha are formed actually. From Rama Patipadikam plus Su, and so many sutras go, and finally this form comes. Of course, we were not tested for the memory for application, but we were taught just for the sake of completion. After seeing the complexity of which sutra comes where, what are the exceptions, understanding, then I was saying my husband, I think it's easier to just memorize the form. No, initially it feels like it's so difficult to memorize because we are not children. It's easy for them to memorize. But even if you understand the logic, because Panini uses common sutras which are applicable in different contexts, and you have to pull different sutras different way from different places. So it becomes very complex to understand the logic, assimilate the concepts. So sometimes we have to see which is the easiest path. Whether knowing the logic which is universally applicable, then okay, let's learn the logic. Otherwise, let's learn the forms. That's it. And eventually, through studying literatures, we will come to know many, many forms and we'll build our vocabulary. So that decision we need to make. Okay? Yeah. Okay, good. So everybody now is familiar with Tumun, right? What it is, what we do. But the problem will be when you start applying it, that's where you'll realize there's so much confusion. Where to put Tumun for the first one or second one? That's why we need a lot of exercises. And how to identify, okay, ashtadhyayi.com will be our home. So if you just search for Bhavitum or anything, then you will directly see Tumun Pratyaya, Tumun Pratyaya, you will find it directly there. So that way, this also will become very familiar with you. That, okay, actually, I know what is Tumul and what it means also now. And homework for you is explore, like, because we discussed last time, gave you exercise, I don't know how many of you have done, to take this set of dhatus and look up these forms and write down in your notebook or observe the patterns and things like that. So if you have not done, there's one more chance, please do it, because these are very, very special dhatus which commonly used in our Sahitya, literatures, and the forms are very different, variegated. So unless you are familiar with it, you will use it wrongly. Okay, that is, and then try to make sentences like this. Even if you other words you use in English, it's fine, because if you don't know vocabulary. For example, you want to tell mother, use mother only, no problem. If you don't know mata. The mother takes up ingredients or basically shaka or vegetables to cook. Think like that. Think what is happening in the day-to-day life. Think about sentences like that and try to put it in Sanskritam. Then you will apply your concept nicely. Okay, that's one thing on your own to do. But of course, I will also give you some standard sentences. So now we are going into the gearing up our learning. So we are now expecting you to make Sanskrit sentences from English sentences. Okay, so you are going to understand what are the various elements used here and which one should be Dvitiya Vibhakti, which one Prathama Vibhakti. Based on all the things, the exercise would be you are going to translate these sentences into, or rather express this meaning in Sanskritam. Okay, that will be very nice exercise. Only 5 sentences, and some of them are actually a little bit Krishna conscious also. So try to do it, and then after that you will get up so enthusiastic that you will start making endless sentences. Okay, and for this you can actually use one tool, this extra tool I'm sharing now. Let me show you that. Okay, here it is. Okay, I don't have a link here. Okay. Okay. So this is a tool which will give you, if you know an English word, if you want to know what is a Sanskritam word, of course you can ask AI tools also these days, but you can actually ask this tool also. This is like a traditional tool, learn Sanskrit.cc. For example, I want to tell playground. See here, I gave a sentence, boys go to playground to play. So I don't know what is the Sanskrit word for playground. So I'll just type playground. Okay, then choose English. See, then it will say, it will give some sentences. Oh, it's not giving me. Okay. Of course, it gives so many other things, but Kridanganam is the most common form. Kridanganam. So you can even Kridangana. And here it's N. N is Napunsaka Linga. If you want again copy this, go to your kosha and check the linga, what it is. Okay. And some sentences also they give. Like this. This is one way, or you can ask your AI tools also. But don't ask the whole sentence to AI tool. You can only ask bits and pieces, which if you want to use complete Sanskrit sentence, or if you can use just playground, no problem. As long as you are using the Gantum properly here. Okay. Okay, there are multiple stages. You can solve this thing, but please solve it on your own, because we need to build this skill on our own. AI will not help forever for us. When we go back to Godhead, AI will not come with us. Okay, so please let's do it. Okay, and this homework is homework number 2. And the answers will be given in the same slide material. Okay, PowerPoint material. You will have the answers at the end. So you can double check. Okay, so we'll go to the next concept, dhatu. We want to study a new dhatu today. Okay, okay, tell me what are dhatus we studied, or sorry, new lakara we should study today. Who can tell what are lakaras we studied, what the meaning are? What is the name in Sanskritam? What's the meaning? Okay, Braja Gopinath Prabhu, your hands are anyway raised, so I'm going to ask you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, we have studied till now 2 lakaraha, lat lakaraha and lit lakaraha. Lat lakara is a present tense and lit lakaraha is a future tense. Basically, any action in the future if you want to represent.
Okay, so there is one mistake in what Prabhuji told. What is a mistake? Who can correct it?
Mataji, it would be lat lakaraha.
What lakara?
Lat lakaraha.
Rit. Okay. Lat lakara, present tense. Rit. La with a rikaraha. Rit. Not lit. Lit is also there, but that's a different lakara. We didn't study that. Lrt will become future tense. Okay, everybody's clear? Okay. So now let's study a new lakara, because see, generally these are the common things, right? Present, past and future. We studied present and future. Let's go to past. Okay. So same way, but dhatoh anadyatana bhute lang. Okay, this is the meaning. So lang lakara is used in bhute, past tense, but specific past tense. There is an adjective here. What is the specific past tense? Anadyatana bhute means this should not happen today. Basically, it's a past perfect they tell, right? It can happen yesterday or any time before that, but it should not happen today. Like for example, today I got up at whatever time, correct? 4 o'clock. So I should not use this lakara to tell that. There's some other, if you have to really be precise. But because we have to study from Shastra, we have to tell the exact ways. But this is the most common past tense. Another, there are 2 more tenses like that, indicating past. So these days people use, they don't really, follow this much so clearly. Okay, somewhere I'm expressing past tense, please accept it like that. So it's okay. At least we need to know theoretically what it is. And there is another way to express past also. Later, that's through Kridanta. We'll study that later. That's called Tavattu. Okay, we'll study that later. Okay, so now with this dhatu, let's study this table. First, let's observe what's happening here. Patati, pat dhatu, lat lakara will be patati, patataha, patanti. So there is nothing added before. But in lang lakara, something is added before. It's a fixed form, like akara, always akara. But that it also changes with dhatu. For certain dhatus, it's akara. For certain dhatus, it's something else altogether. Okay? And this also common pattern of suffixes. Once we know the dhatu, once we know what is the prefix, if you just memorize tu, tam, an, visarga, tam, ta, va, ma. If you memorize this much, you are going to add this to any dhatu and you'll get the forms ready-made for you. Of course, some sandhis, everything will be there. So you observe the forms and understand if there is any variation. And there is another variation here. It becomes uhu some places. We'll see if we have to discuss that. Okay. Okay. So now what we'll do is let's read this table. So who is the Murali Prabhu? You can read this table. So starting from here, and you have to tell these 9 words.
Pat dhatoh anadyatan bhute lang past parasmaipadi prathama purushah apatat apatatham apathan madhyama purushah apatah apatatham apatata uttama purushah apatham apatava apathama.
Okay, Prabhuji. See, this is na, is it? Anadyatana, I should tell, and not anadyatan. Okay? Okay. One more thing is, if you see for lat lakara, what will happen? Here, mahapranatha will come. So there is no mahapranatha. Remember that. See, what we say, pathasi, patataha, patatha. So remember that there is no mahapranatha here. And then here, what will happen? Patami, patavaha, patamaha. So don't put visarga here. There is no visarga here. Okay, so we should not make that mistake. Okay, and a gets added before. That's it. Okay, now these are all the dhatus. You can try to look up and try to do this. Actually, we can do some exercise now. Let's see. Tamal Prabhu, try to replace this table with one dhatu and tell me the forms. See, for example, bhu is complicated. It becomes abhavat. That's you. Here it is, abhavat. Okay, try lik. You want to do bhu or lik, whichever.
I can try, Mataji. Bhu, I can try.
Okay.
Yes. Abhavat. Abhavatam. Apatan.
Your voice is breaking. Okay, try again from. Voice is clear, but the Zoom is lagging. Okay, try again from beginning, Prabhu.
Abhavat. Abhavatam. Abhavatan.
No, abhavan. See, pat, right?
Abhavan.
Ta is coming from
Abhavan.
here. Abhavan. Okay, try this one.
Abhavan. Abhavan.
Hmm.
Abhavaha.
Hmm.
Abhavaham. Abhavata.
Add this one. Abhavatam.
Abhavatam. Abhavata.
Hmm.
Abhavatam. Abhavatava.
No, no.
Abhavatama.
Prabhuji, see, there is no ta added here, no. See, pat is coming from dhatu. So,
Okay,
abhavam.
Abhavam.
Hmm.
Abhava.
Correct.
Abhavava. Abhavama.
Correct. Okay, let's try one more then. Let's ask Yach. Who will try Yach? Who wants to try? Okay, Preeti Mataji, try Yach.
Yach. Ayachat. Ayachatam. Ayachan. Ayachah. Ayachatam. Ayachata. Ayachatam. Ayachatam.
There is no ta, no. Why are you adding ta?
Yes.
Ayacham. Ayacham.
Yes. Ayacham. Ayachava. Ayachama.
Okay, simple. That's it. All we are doing is just memorize this three, 3 by 3 words. Tu, tam, an, visarga, tam, ta, vama. That's it. And then you add to the dhatu. Somewhere places the ikara gets added, that you remember that. And then all the forms you get for free. Okay, that's it. Okay. So then homework is to memorize, use and observe. Of course, there are some complications. There are some specific dhatus. The form changes. So please make a note of this and try to observe it. And eventually we will cover. There is a way, there is a technique for this. Why it changes, but I don't want to do now. So let's observe right now and later we will do that. If later in our sessions we have time, we will cover this concept. Okay. Okay, Shabda Pataha. Now let's learn our one of the Shabdas. So Sarvanama Shabdaha mentioned for module 1. We covered all of this. Kim, Yad and Tad, Asmad and Yushmat. We also covered I and you. Now we are in Etat Shabdaha, which is similar to Tad. Tad is for far object. Etat is near object. And we'll discuss that Pum and Napum today, which is exactly same form. And the forms are also very close to Tad Shabdaha. Okay. So here we are telling somebody who's near to us. Eshaha balakaha. He is the boy. If somebody is far, we say saha balakaha. That's a difference. That's it. Etad is for near. So dakarant. Okay. So first I'll tell you what are the things to observe here. See, from here onwards is exactly like our Tat Shabda only. Okay. See, tena. Okay. First I'll read this. Then you'll know what the patterns are. Okay. दकारान्तः पुल्लिङ्गः एतत् शब्दः एषः एतौ एते इति प्रथमा एतम् एनम् एतौ एनौ एतान् एनान् इति द्वितीया एतेन एनेन एताभ्याम् एतैः इति तृतीया एतस्मै एताभ्याम् एतेभ्यः इति चतुर्थी एतस्मात् एताभ्याम् एतेभ्यः इति पञ्चमी एतस्य एतयोः एनयोः एतेषाम् इति षष्ठी एतस्मिन् एतयोः एनयोः एतेषु इति सप्तमी. So now if you observe from here onwards is exactly like Tat Shabda. तेन ताभ्यां तैः तस्मै ताभ्यां तेभ्यः तस्मात् ताभ्यां तेभ्यः तस्य तयोः तेषां tasmin tayoh teshu. All you have to do, just put a before. And in some places, there is extra variation coming. That's all. So, etena, and remember the variation, enen, nakara will come. That's all. Etena, enena, etayoh, enayoh, etayoh, enayoh. Just remember where exactly the variation comes. And then just put ekara before your tad shabda. That's it. From here onwards. But here, this is a little bit different. There it's saha taute. So it's eshaha, etau, ete. Then tam, tau, tan. Then again variation is coming. Etam, enam, etau, enau, etan, enan. This is also simple. All you have to do is put the nakara form variation and put a before. That's all. So seems very close. Once you memorize Tat Shabda, this table is nothing. Just that variations are there. Okay. So one person wants to read read this on your own. Saraswati Mataji, you can read this on your own.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dakarantah pullingah etad shabdah एषः एतौ एते इति प्रथमा एतं एनम् एतौ एनौ एतान् एनान् इति द्वितीया एतेन एनेन एताभ्याम् एतैः इति तृतीया एतस्मै एताभ्याम् एतेभ्यः इति चतुर्थी एतस्मात् एताभ्याम् एतेभ्यः इति पञ्चमी एतस्य एतयोः एनयोः एतेषाम् इति षष्ठी एतस्मिन् एतयोः एनयोः एतेषु इति सप्तमी.
Okay, Mataji, the Visarga is having problem. You are telling the full ha. No, the Yara Lava Shasa. Saha.
Okay.
You should not tell that. Etayohu.
Etayohu.
Etayohu, enayohu. Okay.
Enayohu.
Okay. That's all. That's it. Okay. So everybody is clear. So we will memorize and try to use it in our sentences. Our homework exercises is focusing on this Shabda again. So we can practice with the homework. And similarly, Napunsakalinga is exactly same as Punlinga except for the first two lines again. From here onwards is exactly same. And here we know Napunsaka usually, as it is, the Pratipadikam will come. Etad. And then A will come, Ani will come, usually. Phalam, Phale, Palani. So first line is given for us. And here there is a variation. Same thing. That's all. Exactly same. So it's very simple. So somebody can read the first two lines. Okay, who can read it? Okay, Yadupati Prabhu, you can read the first two lines.
Yes, Mrs. एतत् दकारान्तः नपुंसकलिङ्ग एतत् शब्दः एतत् एते एतानि इति प्रथमा एतत् एनत् एते एने एतानि एनानि इति द्वितीया.
That's it. Thank you for this. Rest of it is exactly same. So we can use it. Okay, that's it. Okay, now coming to our practice exercises. So session 11 practice exercises are given. This time it may be a little bit complicated, more bigger sentences are given because we try to do both the ether as well as the lang lakara together. So then you can look up the forms and then get used to the forms. See, agacchaha. You know, so once you memorize the lang lakara, you should be able to guess it on your own before looking up. You guess it first and then look up and confirm so that your guess is correct before you check the answers. Got it? Agacchaha comes where? Madhyama Purusha Ekavachanam, right? See, Abhavat, Abhavatam, Abhavan, Abhavaha, Agacchaha will come in Madhyama Purusha Ekavachanam. So like that. Okay, this is your homework 5. Link to the homework exercise document is here. And the answers will be right below in the same document. Okay, we are used to this pattern. Okay, so homework all together. Now, review Tumun, examples and its usage. So Tumun is used for what? What is the meaning of Tumun? When we add Tum, what does it do?
To do an activity.
To do that activity of the dhatu.
In future.
Okay. The future action is represented with Tum. Correct. Make sentences with Tumun forms for the given dhatus. Homework 1, like the big list of dhatus is there. Otherwise, now translate the English sentences into Sanskrit. Homework 2. That's a advanced homework. We are stepping up a little bit today. Okay. Memorize lang lakara and you start using and observing. Okay. Some patterns are very different. So use and observe. Etat shabdaha pum and napum. We can memorize that and then start making sentences. And also, if you want a short recitation video, it's already there. And homework 5 has application of all of them together. Okay, it's very important. See, among all the things we covered, the most crucial and fundamental aspect is the Vibhakti concept application. Vibhakti, basic Vibhakti meaning application. So that's why all the sentences will help you build that, reinforce that concept more and more. So please do these exercises. It's all for your benefit. Okay. So what we have learned today is Tumun infinitive to do the action application of Anuswara Sandhi. So because because it's a pada sanya at the end, right? The whole word gantum becomes avyaya. So that's a pada. So whenever gantum is used, the next word we should use this rule. If it's a hal, then you have to put the anuswara, otherwise not. So when you write the Sanskrit sentences, right, make sure you're following this rule. Understood, right? Yeah. Okay. Then lang lakara abhavat. A comes before and now suffix is added. This is a new thing we are learning today. Shabda pata, eta shabda, pum and napum. Okay, extra exercises from discussion group you need to discuss now, which was that yani kani cha papani. Okay, that one we'll discuss first before we go to question answers. So I think this time Raja Gopinath Prabhu did the work and he wanted to work through and share with all of you. So I'm trying to get my PPT there. Okay, here it is. Okay, so let's go to, this is Prabhuji's work. Okay, here it is. So Prabhuji will, I'm sharing and Prabhuji will talk it through and explain to us what he has done. Okay, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. So basically it's yani kani chapa pani. So first we'll start with
Just tell the whole shloka once, Prabhuji. Yeah.
yani kani chapa pani brahma hatyadi kani cha tani tani pranashyanti pradakshina pade pade. So here first I found out what is the dhatu. Here pranashyanti is one of the dhatu. So basically finishing or nash karna. And now if it is finishing, like upon which the impact is going is to the papa or to the sin. So that's why I have used dvitya vibhakti for the papa. Sorry, papam. It's a napumsak linga. So yani kani. Now yani is also a visheshanam for papa. So that's why here I have used dvitya vibhakti because yani comes in prathama as well as in dvitya also. Similarly, kani is also referring to the same papa. So here also that's why I have used dvitya vibhakti. And cha is an avyayam, and then papa is napumsak lingaha, and it's a bahuvachanam. That's why papani is there since. So yani kani cha papani. So whichever and whatever since, and then brahma hatyadi kani. So here Brahma is a compound word. So Brahma is a pratipadikam, and Hatya. So this I was confused. That's why I have highlighted it as red. So Hatya plus Adhika. I thought it in this way. I searched in Koshana Veshaha also this Hatya. So not able to found. I mean only this line I'm able to found. So I'm not clear about Hatya what exactly it is. But then Adhika, it's there in Dhatu, I think in Shabda Pataha. So it is a Napumsak Lingaha. So that's why, and then Hatya plus Adhikani becomes Hatyadhikani. And it's also Dvitya Vibhakti because it's just describing or adjective to the what kind of papa it is. So that's why here it's a Dvitya Vibhakti in Napumsak Lingaha also. And then we have cha again, which is avyayam. And then tani, all those, which means all those. Here also it is referring to the same papa. So that's why, and it's a visheshanam for papa. That's why I have used dvitya vibhakti here once again. So tani. And then here is the verb pranashanti. So it's actually pra upsarga is added to the nash dhatu, and it's a lat lagara or the present tense. It's the present tense and bahuvachanam because there are many sins which are getting destroyed. So we have used bahuvachanam. So it's nashyanti plus pra plus nashyanti becomes pranashyanti, and then pradakshina. So here it's ekvachanam, basically the person who is doing pradakshina. So, and it's a pullinga, and that's why the prathama vachanam. And then pade pade. So I was confused about it because it was coming at many places. It's a napumsak linga. So pade comes in prathama and dvitiya vibhakti, dvivachanam also. And it comes at saptami vibhakti, ekvachanam also. So here the meaning which I'm able to get is that at each and every step the sins get destroyed by circumambulation. So kind of a location is described. That's why I have used saptami vibhakti ekvachanam here.
Okay. So anybody has worked on it, and if you have a different answers to what Prabhuji has come up with, and if you have to kind of, what to say, challenge Prabhuji, it's like, defending our thesis. So everybody, if you want to challenge Prabhuji, you can raise questions on his presentation.
One
Hare
check,
Krishna.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. The Brahma Hatyadikani, it's not Adikani, it is Brahma Hatyadi. Adi means like starting from, like many more Papa, like Brahma Hatya. So that is what I understood. Brahma Hatyadi.
Oh, this is looking very bad. One second. Prabhuji, do you want me to highlight so it's easy for you to understand?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So first of all, okay, let everybody speak, then I will comment. Okay, that's a good point, Prabhuji. That's a valid point. Okay. Further, Saraswati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Brahma Hatyadikani, I thought Hatya is from Han Dhatu. And because it is it has, Kridanta has been added and it has become Hatya. This was my understanding, Mataji. I'm not sure if it is correct. And Adhikani, as Prabhuji said, it is because it is a Visheshanam for Papani. So it is following Dvitiya Vibhakti Bahuvachanam.
Okay.
Like etc. Like that.
Okay. So what Mataji extra added is how the Hatya word is formed. That's what she gave extra meaning for that. Correct? Okay. And what about Tanu? What comment you want to make?
Mataji, I'm not making any comment. I had a doubt. So, Brahma Hatyadikani, because, at last it's Kani. So, like in previous verse also, we had such compound word. So, basically, last में जो word था, according to that, we come to know that it's prathama vibhakti and bahuvachanam only. So, मुझे समझ नहीं आया that how it's dvitiya vibhakti.
Okay. But first of all, that this second part of your question is good. I didn't understand why it's dvitiya. That's correct. But your analysis, how to get there, I'm not sure that's correct. So what is your basis why you came to that? Can you clarify that again? Like, why are you, or rather, how did you conclude that it should be Prathama? How did you conclude that?
Mataji, by seeing the last Kani.
Yeah, but if it's an Napunsakalinga, Prathama and Dvitiya Vibhakti has Kani only, no? See, for example, Papani, Papani. Prathama and Dvitiya both has the same form. Like, for example, Tatte, Tani, Tatte, Tani. So it's a valid form grammatically, correct? Is there a confusion about that? No, it's a valid form grammatically. Now the question is whether it's a Prathama or Dvitiya. Okay, if Prabhuji chose Dvitiya, why is it Dvitiya? That we need more emphasis. Okay, so we'll come to that. Okay, Shashi Prabhuji, what are your thoughts?
Mataji, I'm completely confused here because the main idea is Papani Pranasyanti. So Papani is a Prathama Vibhakti. Papani Pranasyanti. And then Brahmahatya, Adhikani, etc. all they follow the Papani. Yani, Kani, Tani, Tani. Everything is following Papani because Papani is the main doer here.
Yes. Okay. So that's where the confusion. Whether it's a Dvitiya or Prathama, what to put. So Prabhuji has to explain why he went to Dvitiya form. But what Prabhuji is saying, Shashi Prabhuji is telling. So, Papani pranashyanti. So it's like a tree grows. Who is the doer? The tree itself is the doer. Vrikshaha edate. Correct? Of course, there is another thing like I make the tree grow. That's different. Correct? But if you just take the sentence, for example, phalam patati, fruit falls. Fruit itself is falling. So who is the doer? The fruit. Correct? Phalam patati, phalam is both Pratama Vibhakti and Dvitiya Vibhakti. But because it's a karta, and usually when karta and karma, usually if only one form is used, karta should be there before the karma happens anyway. So karta is there, phalam. So similarly here, one logic is the meaning it's a pranashyanti means diminishes or extinguishes, right? So they themselves are getting destroyed. Unless it could be Dvitiya also, if we have a doer. So Braja Gopinath Prabhu has to tell who is the doer. See, for example, aham phalam kadami. I am the doer. Phalam is a fruit, that's karma, and kadami is action. So in this, if we want to put as a Dvitiya Vibhakti karma, who is the doer? Where is the karta? Karta is saying, I think the only pratama is Pradakshina. Prabhuji, you want to tell?
Mataji, what I thought because like we are doing pradakshina, or like let's say I am doing pradakshina, so I am kind of a doer who is doing pradakshina, and what the impact is going upon papam. So that's why the impact is getting on the papa. That's why I have given Ditya to papa and all relative words.
See, these are all bhavartha, Prabhuji. These are all like the effect, essential effect. But we have to justify with the pure grammatical understanding how everything is happening. Essential meaning everybody will understand. But because we are talking at a grammar level, we should be very clear whether it's a pratama or dvitiya. Okay? So pranashyanti means this here it's like finishes, or rather they get destroyed actually. Actual word is get destroyed. Who is getting destroyed? The papam is getting destroyed. The papam itself is doing the activity of getting destroyed essentially. Okay? But there is another context in which it's happening. That's what we need to link other things. But let's see what others have to say. Konika Mataji?
So Mataji, I thought that, yes, I agree that Pradakshina is the karta because, and I thought that Pranashanti is like Pradakshina destroys the everything else. So Pranashanti is actually indicating Pradakshina. I thought that Pradakshina is the karta and it is destroying. So Pradakshina Pranashanti.
Okay. See, another flaw in that logic. If Prabhuji, Braja Gopinath Prabhu and others, if you're still confused, you feel, because Prabhuji presented first, you feel it should be Dvitiya, it should be karma, because my Pradakshina is doing that. If you still have a doubt, another way to prove it is through grammatical means. Okay, I will tell you. See, Pradakshina, you did Ekavachanam, correct? If I say Balakaha, let's say Pranashyati. Okay, Balakaha, let's say Papam Pranashyati. That's a good sentence, correct? Boy kills Papa. Correct? But if you have to use, here Pranashyanti is used. Balakaha Papani Pranashyanti. When Pranashyanti is used, what should be the karta? Balakaha. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. So then that itself is giving us a clue. The karta is not Pradakshina. It's affecting this action. How it's affect, that we need to figure out. But we need to understand the vachanam will be equal for because it's a kartari prayoga, or the active voice. Pranashyanti is bahuvachanam. So the karta or the person who's doing the pranashyanti, we should also be in bahuvachanam. Everybody's clear? That's why this is in pratama ekavachanam, pratama purusha bahuvachanam. So others will also become pratama vibhakti bahuvachanam. Everybody's clear about pratama vibhakti now? Everybody becomes pratama vibhakti now. Any other question? Shashi Prabhu, you have any comment?
Yeah, Mataji, I actually thought that the Pradakshina is a typo. I kind of thought that the Anvaya is Pradakshine pade pade papani pranashyanti.
Okay. Yes, that's
That
another.
makes sense, will it not?
Yes, we'll come to that. That's a deep,
Okay.
very deep discussion. We'll have it. But let's have Hemant Prabhu. He has some comments. Hemant Prabhuji.
Mataji, related to Pade Pade, I am not agreeing with Saptami Ekvachanam. It should be like for the Pada word, it should be Padam Pade Padani. So Pade Pade should be with every step. So it should be Prathama Vibhakti only. Like Pade means 2 feet. I was guessing that. So Pade should be either in Prathama or Dvitiya only.
Okay,
Prathama, Pratham, yeah.
So Prathama only works. Or see, first of all, what is this Napunsakalinga? So it can be Prathama or Dvitiya, correct?
Yes.
Prathama, Dvitiya or Saptami Ekavachanam, both.
Yes,
So
yes.
if you put Prathama or Dvitiya, what will the meaning we will get? You see, Prathama means Pade. Pade means 2 people. 2 step, 2 feet. So 2 feet, how is it connected to all of the action? You need to connect to an action. So 2 feet, what they're doing? See, if nothing is applicable, see here only one Dhatu Pada Tinganta is there. Pranashanti. If you cannot connect to this, then the only thing is you have to assume. You can only assume Asti, Asdhatu. Like for example, Aham Asmi, or we can say Balaka Hasti. So only thing what we can do is Pade Staha. Asti Staha Santi. Pade exist. That's the only statement we can make. Correct?
Yes, Mataji.
But would that connect that statement with the rest of the meaning somebody is trying to convey? That's something we need to think about. But whereas if you use Saptami, it means at every step. It makes sense, right? At every step. In every step, my papani are getting destroyed. That makes more sense in the context.
Okay. Yes, Mataji.
Okay, that's good. Okay, next. Any other questions other than Pranashyanti? Any other comments anybody has?
Pranashyanti means finishes or get finished. I mean,
Yeah, get finished actually. It's Latlakara. So its finishes is correct. Destroys is the actual, or rather, destroys.
there's a difference, right? Like whether papam, all these papas are getting destroyed or are they destroying something? There's a difference between both. So here, if we know the meaning of the pranashyanti properly, then we can associate whether it is the doer is papani or whether the doer is like pradakshinam, right?
Definitely. See, that's one thing, Prabhu. But before even go there, we know pradakshina is ekavachanam. So this cannot be the doer impacting this. I already mentioned just now.
Right. Okay.
It should be pradakshinaha pranashyanti. See, that's a good sentence. Pradakshinaha papani pranashyanti. Correct?
Right.
Yes. Okay, pranashyanti. Let's see more. Let's go deeper a little bit and see. Nashtatu. Okay, see, nashyati is coming here only. Okay, nashyati means, for example, it means what? To disappear, to perish, to get destroyed. See, get is coming here only, Prabhu, already. Meaning itself means get destroyed. Okay. So now I will show you one more thing. I want to add because we have to add the upasarga, pranashyanti, right? So let's see, pranashyati, pranashyataha, pranashyanti. So we have a right form. Now I want to show you whether the natvam will come. See, na upasarga samase. See, no padeshascha. Natvam is happening basically, but this natvam rule is different from what rule we studied, I guess. Okay, so it's a different rule, but that's fine. Natvam is happening at least because we know that rakara is there here, no? Immediately followed by nakara, and it's within the pada. Right? So the same rule is happening here, but it's expressed in a different way. Okay, so everybody's clear about this. Now, what are the other questions remaining? One thing is, clear, right? So I will now show, let's go deeper into this pradakshina and how. So the question is, what Shashi Prabhu is bringing about is that pradakshina seems pratama ekavachanam, but doesn't seem to be fitting into this statement, in the whole thing. It seems like 2 segregated things. See, pradakshina, if you have to put it, I told, right, only suffix only kriya you can add it, asti, pradakshina asti, that's all. But how this pradakshina will result in this, that connection we are not able to put properly. Okay, that's where it's a clue. So one easy way to think is, oh, there is a typo, there is a mistake. But before we go there, we have to do a lot of due diligence and analysis as to what is going on here. So I will show you what I have done. Okay, here. Okay. Yeah, so this is pradakshina is giving. This is the activity, these are the exercises. Okay, so yet 1.3. Okay, again to be put everything together. Pratama bahuvachanam, kani pratama bahuvachanam. These are the pratipadikam. Okay, papani, papa, napunsakalinga, pratama bahuvachanam. Everybody's clear? So next is Brahma. See, you have to write like this. If it's a compound word, of course, we didn't teach you Sandhi, so it's difficult. But actually, it's made of like this. Brahma Hatya plus Adikani. Okay? Brahma Hatya plus Adikani. This is called Savarna. This is called Savarna Dirgha Sandhi, where when they combine together, only one A will remain. But actually, that A could be here or there. That we'll study later. See, the original word is Brahma Hatyadikani. Okay, this also I split it. Actually, the original word is like this. It's like this. Correct? So there is Savarna Dirgha Sandhi where the A could be anywhere. When combined, it becomes Dirgha. Okay? So if you look up, why I chose Hatya is, that's what we see in Kosha, not Hatya. So I will show you. First, I'll show you the Adi. Adi is there. So if you show Adi here, beginning with, like Ityadi, they say, no? Ityadi means etc. Beginning with. Adi. Adyaha. Beginning. Commencement. Initial. Okay, like that. If you go to Hindi or English. The first one. So beginning with Brahma Hatya, everything else. That's what it means. Adi. Okay. So another thing, mistake we should not do, which Prabhuji has done, is that we should not change the words from the original thing easily. See, the way Prabhuji has written, he made Mahaprana Da here. That's another word. Okay, so we should keep with exactly what they have given before we start changing. Unless there's a blatant mistake, we feel it doesn't work, we should not do that. So Adi is a word. So Adi is a proper word. Okay. So, and we can find it's beginning with. So beginning with killing of a Brahmana. That's what meaning is coming. And Hatya. So I'll show you Hatya. So if you look at just Hatya, you don't get much information actually. So, but they are telling, I don't know what is IFC also, but they are telling Hatya. So then we should actually look up this one and see if there, it gives more information or no. See, actually Hatya is a Srilinga Pada. Okay. So then it's basically, it means in Bhave killing, slaying, slaughter. So this gives more information for Hatya. That means this is actually the real word. Okay, so that's how we can conclude. Marane, to kill. Okay, to murder, like that. So based on all that, now we have here, the actual thing is, so it is actually Brahma Hatya Adikani. So beginning with the killing of a Brahmana. Okay. Brahmasya Hatya. Brahma is also killing a Brahmana. Brahmasya Hatya. These are any, of course, Samasa meanings. We didn't discuss this, no problem. Adika. And Ka is also there. Ka does, if you see Adika, you will not get it in the Kosha. See, I will show you this one. You know, Adi is coming, but Adika, you will not find it. Because sometimes you need to know certain things where Kosha will not stay. See, okay, it's only giving this much, beginning with it's saying. So essentially, there is another concept called Swarte Pratyaya. Ka Pratyaya is added. Swarte means original meaning is retained. When we add the Ka. So nothing changes, the meaning will exactly remain the same. That's called Swarte, means original. That later we will study, no problem. This is just like we are looking ahead. That's why shlokas are complicated to deal with, because we are not, but this is a fun exercise, so we are still doing it, okay? So basically meaning is same as Adi only, beginning with, but just that Ka is added just for the sake of meter sometimes. Okay, now Pradakshina is correct.
Mataji, so here in Brahm Hatyadikani, you have also mentioned that it's Prathama Vibhakti.
Correct. Yes, because all of them are their adjectives, no? Everything is adjective. Okay.
Mataji, this is adjective to papam. I mean, papa, all of this like Brahma, Hatya.
Correct. Yes, correct. So all are adjectives to papani. So basically, what type of papani? They are telling, oh, Brahma Hatyadikani papani. Correct? Okay, like that. Adjective. See, what type of boy? Blue boy or intelligent boy, like that. Okay. Pullinga, 1.1, the act of circumambulation. Pradakshina, if you search, you will get act of circumambulation. So this Prathama Ekavachanam is very clear here. Okay, so now we need to figure out how to put this. Okay, Pade, we already discussed Saptami Ekavachanam, Pada. Napunsakalinga, Padam will come actually. So it's Charana, means feet or step. Actually, step. Tani, we know that Tat and Napunsaka. Pranashyanti means Pranash, Latlakara, Prathama Purusha, Bahuvachana. Okay. So far, we are all clear about this. Now, the question is how to fit in this Pradakshina. So, this is actually a passive form, okay, which we didn't study, but this is how the Anvaya looks like. Okay. Yani kani cha papani, Brahma hatyadi kani cha santi, whatever exists. See, for this, we need to connect. Maya Pradakshina pade pade kriyate, tani tani papani pranashyanti. By me, when the pradakshina is done step by step, all the papa get destroyed. That's the meaning. You understand? So what they're saying, whatever sins, including sins such as Brahma suicide, as circumambulation is performed by me at every step, those very sins perish. Okay, but Baba, as I said, right? If in the Bhajana book, you don't get that exact literal meaning. Because it's called Bhavartha. They don't give the exact meaning. What they're saying by the circumambulation. Who is doing circumambulation? Not clear. By the circumambulation of Srimati Tulsi Devi, all the sins that one may have committed are destroyed at every step, even the sin of killing Brahmana. But when we apply from a grammar point of view, we need to analyze and put everything properly. And we may even write the literal translation. This is same as, of course, we didn't teach you the passive voice, but you got a clue in the shloka I recite at the end. What did I tell? Maya aparadaha kritaha. Offenses have been committed by me. I'm the doer still, but it's the way we express is different. Maya means by, right? Maya. By me, and in the passive voice, the karma gets the prathama form. Okay. So, aham aparadhan kritavati. I have committed aparadha. That's the actual active form. Akaravam, if you have to lung lakara, this is another way to express a passive form. I have created aparadha. I have committed offenses. This is active form. But when we convert to passive form, the karma becomes the prathama vibhakti. Actually, don't get confused. Systematically, later we will study active passive voice. This is just to explain this particular concept, what is happening here. So what actually is saying is, aham pradakshinam krutavan. I have done the pradakshina. Correct? That time the pradakshina gets a dvitiya vibhakti, karma. Aham, I did the pradakshina. Correct? Aham pradakshinam krutavan. But when we tell that activity in now as a pratama, that means mostly the passive form is in place. So maya pradakshinaha kriyate. By me, by my circumambulation, by my doing the circumambulation, all the sins are getting perished automatically. That's how pradakshina as it is stands good without changing anything. So before we try to change, we need to really see from all angles. And of course, we are learning. We don't know all the angles yet, but gradually we will understand. This is similar to what we have done here. The rules of how to convert from active to passive, that's a big subject altogether. We will study very later. Okay? At least now we understand this makes sense as it is. Because these are implicit words, you don't need to mention also. That's why I put in brackets. These are not in the shloka. Sometimes, like for example, how we say patami. They just say patami. You don't need to tell aham patami. It's implicit. We understand. Okay, or it need not be Maya also. It could be by them. If you don't want to tell by me, by them doing pradakshina, all their sins are destroyed. Understand? Doer can be anything here, but this form remains the same because once we put it in a passive form, the karma gets the Pratama Vibhakti form. Everybody's clear? If you don't understand this, no problem. How the pradakshina fits here, no problem. When we study passive form, that time we'll bring up this one again and we'll study more deeply. Okay? Okay.
Mataji, can I ask a question? Mataji,
Okay.
so when I matched my answer with whatever you explained, so it's exact, like all the vibhaktis are correct, but then also I'm unable to make a sentence. Just like in second session or third session, you showed a photo of Krishna stealing butter. So there I was able to make a sentence very nicely because vibhaktis were clear. But here in this verse, I'm not able to make that way.
Okay. So you're not able to make the Sanskrit sentence or English sentence? Anything?
English sentence. English.
So are you able to come this much? You got the Sanskrit sentence this much, like this? Almost?
This much means?
Like similar to this, you got the Sanskrit sentence? Did you try the Sanskrit sentence? No.
Sanskrit sentence means verse is already in Sanskrit.
No. That's called Anvaya, prose order. See, before we get to English, we need to know, put everything in the Sanskrit, the shloka, in a prose form. Like, by filling the words which this is called Anvaya. Before, if you jump from there to there, then it gets confusion. So from here, based on vibhaktis, we need to make a sentence. Sentence is what? Karta, karma and kriya. So like that, you put everything together. Okay, see, karta is yani, kani, papani, everything is karta. That's why it's coming karta, and karma will come, karma is not even there, karta, pranashyanti. Okay?
Okay, Mataji, but how to learn this art of, making Anvaya?
Anvaya. That eventually we'll learn. That's actually, yeah, we will learn that, how to do this, actually deep process for that. But even if you don't do Anvaya also, see, Prabhuji was also able to get the actual meaning, almost meaning, right? So simple. See, if you don't do Anvaya, you understand this is, okay, now you are at this level, correct? Or rather, you got this information.
Yes.
So now based on this, you know that all these things get destroyed. These are all adjectives, correct? And they get destroyed. So you connect all of this with this. So whatever and kani, whichever, kani means kinke kani, whichever, whatever, papani and including the killing of the Brahmana, I have done is implicit. Get destroyed. This much you got. Tani, those specific things get destroyed. Correct? See, you were able to link this much. Wait.
Yes.
This much, even this much.
Yes.
That's it. You see, you got 90% of your shloka is ready for you. Whatever, whichever papani, including the killing of a Brahmana, somebody might have done or I have done, can get destroyed by my pradakshina. Get destroyed. That much you got. Now you have to connect this. Pade pradakshina. Means what? At every step, pradakshina. Because if pradakshina is in Pratama Ekavachanam, that's where there is confusion. At every step of my pradakshina, passive voice makes sense. Okay, so when we learn the passive voice, we will get it.
Yes. But Mataji, pradakshina is prathama vibhakti and it's not instrument.
See,
Right?
Pratama vibhakti is a doer, right?
Yes.
Doer. Yeah, that's why. Because it's a passive voice, we didn't teach you. That's why there is a confusion. So no problem if you are not able to apply this one. But Pade, you should be able to apply, right? At every step. You got it, right?
Yes.
Yes. So Pradakshina, if you are not able to get, no problem. Everybody is in the same state. Because we didn't teach the passive voice, it looks like a karta, it looks like a pratama. So far, what we understood, pratama vibhakti is a doer. That's the only thing we understood. But now in passive voice, the karma can also be in pratama vibhakti. That's later we will study the passive form. Don't worry. We should not even bring up this one actually now. That's when people get confused. But what to do? We are, Srijita is still there. She wants to solve shlokas. So we are doing this, but it's a good exercise, right? We are having like a lot of brainstorming at here. figuring out why this, why that, why not this. So we are able to learn many things. Okay, she's saying heart symbol. Okay, clear so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what else? And actually, I also didn't even know it's a passive form before I gave the shloka. See, because the thing is, we don't need to really. I will tell you my own. Wait, where is my See, after studying all the Vyakarana, you know what you should do? You should throw everything out because you should now relish the rasa. You don't need to keep scratching your head. What vibhakti, what is how it's applying everything. So we are used to, we know this meaning already. When we recite, we know the meaning already. So we just tell it sometimes mechanically. So when I gave the shloka also, I didn't know that there's a passive form. But when Shashi Prabhu messaged, Mataji looks like there's a typo, then I said, oh, I need to really decide now whether it's a typo or no. So I spent like 1 hour trying to analyze this. I had at certain point I asked ChatGPT also to tell me whether I'm correct, and he gave a completely wrong answer. Then I only told, okay, it's a passive voice. Why don't you correct your answer? For 2 times he told, no, my answer is correct. Then I forced him. I gave example. I forced him. I said, yes, you are correct. Your answer is correct. We don't need to change anything. He told. Then I was like, okay, I convinced ChatGPT, so I can convince all of you. Because then I realized that the same thing I have used in a sentence. No. See, Maya, aparadha is a karma. It's not that aparadhas are doing something. Aparadha kruta. By me, the aparadhas are done. This is actually the active voice. This is the passive voice. So that's how that's a rule are there for when the karma becomes the pratama in the passive voice. The same thing. Book. I read the book. Book is read by me. Right? Same thing is there in English. Anyway, so that's it. So we don't have to really, but at the learning stages, we need to train our brain to put everything together. But don't think it's going to be your lifelong turmoil you have to go through. At certain point, you'll jump above this and relish the action rasa of the shlokas. Okay, if anybody has any questions, other questions,
Yeah,
we can take it up.
yes, Mataji. One question I was asking, and there was a power cut. So when you say balakaha pustakani pranashyanti, it means again the balakaha are getting destroyed. Should we rather say balakaha pustakani vinashayanti or something like that?
Nashayanti. Oh, you're telling Nashayanti.
Nashayanti is correct.
Nashayanti, how do that is the Nijanta. See there.
Yeah, Nashayanti.
That's why I'm telling. See, Nijanta. Nashayanti. Here. Nashayanti.
Yes.
So implicitly, this nash is like self, applied to self. When somebody else is doing, then you have to use Nashayanti. Palakaha pustakani Nashayanti. So similarly here, if the papani, if, for example, I am, or pradakshina is killing the papam, we should tell pradakshinaha papani vinashayanti.
Yes, that's right.
That's called Nijanta. I told you already, no? Nijanta is making somebody do. Aham patami. Okay, or you can say shikshikaha patam patayati. Like, see, in Hindi also we have this, no? मैं पढ़ूंगा, ये पढ़ाएगी. Correct? Same. मैं पढ़ूंगा, teacher पढ़ाएगी. Correct? So one is on our own doing things, one is making other person doing. That's for that we have to use a niche. That is again another pratyaya. We'll study later. Don't worry about it. So that's what is the right sentence. So that way also we can understand, as I mentioned. So because Nijanta is not there, Nash by itself means it's happening within that object, within that entity. So Papani themselves are getting destroyed. How we say the tree themselves is growing. Tree itself is growing. You can also tell we are making the tree grow. There is no problem. Then you have to use a different form. Okay. If you want more complicated, I'll show you that. See, for example, the growing, you have to use Vardate. Okay. Here it is. Edate. See, Edate, Vardate also you can. Okay, Edate. So, Edate means it's growing, self-growing. Like, Vrikshaha Edate. That's the sentence you have to tell. But if you want to tell, I make the tree grow because I put water, I make the tree grow. Then I have to use Nijanta of that. Aham Vriksham Vedayami. Okay. Or you can say balakaha vriksham yedayati. Understand? These are all different concepts we will study later. So what we need to know, Nash is it's like action within that entity, self-entity. It applies self-reflective. We have to understand that. Okay. Okay. So now, any other questions other than this complicated discussion with respect to today, what we discussed? Srijita Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, my question is the practice exercise. There was one sentence and there was one word, Nidhanams. It's a Napunsaka word, but I'm not able to find the table. So could you help me, like?
Okay, so let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay. This is a question, Nidhanam. Okay, here. Okay, because we didn't ask for Nidhanam. That time we were basic, right? I just highlighted the words you need to look for. But you went ahead and tried to look for this. Okay, so now your question is, how do you find? It looks like Napunsaka Linga. How do you find the properties, correct? So what did you do? You search for Nidhana?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
So Nidhana. It's there, no? It's very clear. Kvali. Napunsaka Linga. Here it's saying Nidhanam. People reserving. Kvali it says. Here Napunsaka Linga. Maybe you did research for the wrong.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. You should not search for Nidhanam, you'll not get it. That's why you have to go back to Pratipadikam and you have to search.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
Mataji.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Shashi Prabhu, you have a question?
Yes, Mataji. So it's a question from the last exercise on Krudanta. So I have a question. When you add to Pat, the Ktwa or Lyap, it becomes Prapatya and Patitva. What is the difference between them? Like Pustakam Prapatya sa Parikhyang Likhati.
Okay,
so Patitva, Prapatya. What is is there a difference between those two?
Okay, one second, I'll get that because it's difficult for me to. Okay. Okay, what is the Krudanta? You're going to Krudanta, right?
Right. The exercise you gave last time. So
yes,
there's a Pat Dhatu with Ktwa and
Krudante.
Lyap. Yeah.
So now we are going to Twa, Lep and Tumun.
Twa and Lyap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Prapatya and Patitva.
Okay.
What is the difference between those two?
Difference. That's what we'll study in the next session. So today we covered Tumun. Okay. So next session we are going to cover Twa and Lep, what they mean, when to use what. But simple clue I'm giving you is both have same meaning. It means having done the activity, having done studying. Aham pustakam patitva graham gacchami. Having read, it's called gerund basically. Having read the book, I go to school. And this also has the same meaning except that lep is used when there is a upasarga. When there is a upasarga, then lep has to be used. If there is no upasarga, it's a plain dhatu, twa has to be used. Okay, that's it. That later in the whole session is for that only. Okay, but we gave a clue here. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Braja Gopinath Prabhu?
Yes, I have two questions, Mataji. Like as you mentioned that upsargena dhatvarto baladanyatra niyate. Basically, it takes the meaning to the different direction. I mean, here in the Nashyanti, we have added Vinashyanti or Pranashyanti. So basically, you've seen there is no change in the meaning. So instead of there, like of Pranashyanti, we can use basically Nashyanti also. It's just the choice of the author that he has used Pranashyanti.
Of course, these are not useless letters. There's a meaning for that also. We don't know what was going on in the author's mind. But generally, pra is used to mean prakarshena nashyati. Nashyanti means specially, more emphasis basically. Like prakarshena or prakrishta rupena, it comes meaning. Means more emphasis, nashyanti is get destroyed. And more like, most emphasis you want to put. Like there we can use that meaning. That's why these are all goes into, okay, let's try, goes into upasarga meaning, which we are not going to, okay, we are going to, let's go to upasarga chandrika and see upasarga arthaha. See, they don't have any meanings. And if you say to upasarga chandrika, see pranash, see they give some example when the pranash used. They gave only examples. They didn't give any meaning for it. Yo preva nashyati. Preva is going adihi pranishet. They gave only examples, but the meaning and all, we need to go back to, some of there are 5 volumes about Upasarga meanings. So somebody can study them and, identify, for each dhatu, when Upasarga is applied, what are the possible meanings come, it's all given there. So it's like a very advanced research topic. But meaning is there. We cannot tell is useless. See, all of them, they have meaning. When you add 2 more, the different meanings, right? Like that.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
And
I
another
think in the
question,
current
Mataji.
context, we can understand it as completely perishing. It's like
Yes.
completely it gets perished.
Correct. Prakrushta rupena nashyanti. Okay, Prabhuji.
And Mataji, like when we add krit pratyaya in a dhatuhu, it leads to pratipadikam. So generally we cannot use that in a sentence, but because these 3 krit pratyaya are very special, which results into avyayam, that's why the whatever output we are getting, although it is a pratipadikam, but then you mentioned the last class, actually the sup pratyaya get added into it, then it again become lopaha. So ultimately it's resulting into a padam and it get pada sangya. That's why we are using it. But the other krit pratyayas resultant, we will not able to use it. Only these 3 special krit pratyaya resultant we are able to use it.
Yeah.
Is it
So
right?
whenever avyayam is mentioned, you can directly use them. See, for example, there may be other things also. These are 3. For example, namul is also avyayam. For example, nitya pullinga. They're telling it's always become pullinga when you add gai. So some other properties, when we study this Siddhantas, we'll study them. So nitya strilinga. Tin is added, always we get strilinga, like matihi, gatihi. These are all strilinga. Tin pratyaya is added to that dhatu. Matihi, gatihi, bhaktihi. Bhaktihi is also from bhaja, tin pratyaya. Bhakti. So see for this. Here, tin pratyaya for bhaja sevayam. That's our main crux, right? See, bhaja sevayam. That's why Prabhupada translated as devotional service. So this bhakti has to be expressed in service, active service. It's not just devotion, devotional service. And tin pratyaya makes it Srilinga padam, bhaktihi. So bhakti is actually Srilinga padam in Sanskrit.
And here we are using that. We can we use this bhakti directly since it is not avyayam, it's a nitya
No.
strilinga.
So if you click this, you'll get a table.
Okay.
Only the, but we know that for certain forms, the Partipadikam and their original Pratama forms will be same. Like for example, Nadi, Nadyo, Nadyaha. So there you may get confused, but everyone will get a table like this. All of them will get a table. See?
Okay. Sure.
So that's where they're adding sup and using them.
Okay.
But avyayam, as we discussed, there's no table. They just give you how it's formed. That's all. Because you can directly use it as it is.
Yes, Master. And one more little doubt regarding the upsarga. So we have seen that we are able to apply anuswar sandhi application in the upsarga also. So is it the same case in the upsarga also? Actually, it got the pada sangya identity, and we are actually adding sup pratyaya, and then we are doing lopaha. That's why we can directly use upsarga also anywhere we want.
Yes, correct. Yes, same logic. Upasarga also get the avyaya sangya, basically. And for all avyayas to be able to use in the sentence, same logic. They add the sup and remove the sup. So all avyayas are subantas, which can be used directly. Okay?
Sure, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I think so then we are done with our questions. So let's go and read our passive form sentence. Okay. प्रीत्या सोत्साहसेवायाम् अपराधः मया कृताः क्षमित्वा साधवः सेवां मे ददतु मुहुर्मुहुः. Okay, so we know the meaning. See here, see again, this is also see. Maya aparadaha kritaha, correct. But when it comes to bhavartha, I didn't put it in passive form. See, in my enthusiastic loving service to you all, I have committed many offenses. Because in my heart, the meaning I want to tell is that I've committed offenses. But when it comes to shloka, because of the meters and things like that, it may come in a different way. So this is the meaning of the intended by the author. Okay, so that's a bhavata. So bhavata need not be literal word-to-word translation from the Sanskrit grammatical point of view. So that's why going from English to understand the meaning of the original shlokas is full of mistakes. Unless we do like this, go to the base and understand that and make our own literal translation and then see whether the meaning they gave is coming, essence is same. Then we know this translation is accurate. Okay, so that's what we are learning. Okay, so then once all the negative things are gone away, hopefully all of you have forgiven me, then we'll offer all the wonderful things to our Guru Parampara, to our Shri Shri Radha Govinda by Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Hare Krishna. Jai. See you all next week. Hare Krishna. Happy practicing.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you,
you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So for
Krishna.
anybody, if the extra exercise seems too much, don't worry. This will be covered later on. But some people, it may be very good exercise, but we'll see. Okay. Don't worry about it. Hare Krishna.